Hey, what's going on guys, it's Chum here, and just yesterday, Pokemon released another brand new trailer for their upcoming games, Pokemon Sun and Moon, to kind of line up with their showcase at E3. Now, really quickly before I start talking about what they showed in their showcase, let's look at this brand new trailer and break it down a little bit. So the first thing we see is new Pokemon discovered. And the first one we have here is Pikipek. So as you guys can see here, Pikipek is a normal flying type, so he's the generic bird Pokemon that you have at the beginning of any game. Now Pikipek is known as the woodpecker Pokemon, and it can strike 16 times a second with its beak, and these strikes are powerful enough to not only drill through hard wood, but even shatter stone. And if you look at its abilities, they kind of make sense. So you have Keen Eye, which is a very common thing for birds because they do have great vision, and then you have Skill Link to line up with its ability to strike really quickly. Anything like Fury Attack and that sort of stuff will always hit 5 times. So yeah, pretty cool Pokemon. Either way, let's let the gameplay continue and look at it in action. Now next up we have Yungoos, the loitering Pokemon. So Yungoos is a big eater that is never satisfied. The majority of its long body is given over to its stomach, and its digestion is swift, so it's always hungry. It has long fangs so it can crush and consume the hardest of objects. So yeah, pretty interesting Pokemon. Looks very angry all the time, but definitely really cool. So as you guys can see, its typing is normal, so that means it's going to be the generic normal type that you would find at the beginning of the game. Something like Bidoof or Zigzagoon, but hopefully something a little bit cooler, because this thing has a really nice ability. So of course one of the abilities you can see is Strong Jaw. We all know what that does, it increases the damage of Fang and Bite moves. However, Stakeout is a brand new ability, and this is kind of described on the Pokemon Sun and Moon website. So this ability called Stakeout basically turns all your moves into a reverse pursuit. So as you guys know, if you use Pursuit, it deals double damage for Pokemon when they switch out. Instead, with Stakeout, if a Pokemon is switched into battle while Yungoos is attacking, Yungoos will deal double the damage when its attack lands, which is really cool. Definitely really great for competitive Pokemon, so I really hope this thing does have competitive viability with its moveset and its stats. Now let's move on to the third Pokemon they revealed in this trailer. So now we have the Bug-type Grubbin, the Lava Pokemon. Now the Pokemon website says that Grubbin relies on its sturdy jaw as a weapon in battle, and as a tool for burrowing through the earth. But the really interesting thing is it says here that Grubbin loves electricity, which is why it can be found near power plants and substations. Now that's really interesting because this Pokemon is an electric type, but if it loves electricity, it's very likely that this thing might evolve into an electric type Pokemon. It'll of course not be the first time we've seen a bug and electric type, given that we have Galvantula and Joltik, but still I would really like to see some more bug electrics because it's a really cool typing. Either way, let's let this battle sequence play out and then we'll move on to the next Pokemon. And now we have the mythical Pokemon Magearna, the Steel and Fairy type with the ability Soul Heart. So right now you're going to see the ability in action. When Eevee is taken out, you'll notice that Magearna gets a stat boost in its special attack. Now I'll pause right here real quick before we see this cool ass new move and explain Soul Heart a little bit more. So it doesn't really depict exactly what went down there. So yeah, you saw Eevee went down and Magearna got a stat boost. However, it's not only for its allies. On the Pokemon website, it states that anytime another Pokemon in the arena faints, this ability is activated, which means that not only will it happen when your teammates faint, but also your opponents, making it just like a Moxie boost for special attack, which I think is super interesting. Either way, let's move on and show off Magearna's unique attack. I believe it's called Falua Cannon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, never seen that word before in my life. Either way, you can see it destroys that Pangoro. Alright, so now we have something super exciting, a brand new battle mode. And you guys can see here it involves 4 people and it's called a Battle Royale. Now this is a brand new free-for-all mode, which you can see here we have 4 trainers all with different Pokemon, all standing in like a square facing each other. And you notice, you can attack anyone you want, as you can see in the gameplay here. And the really interesting thing is it works in quite a unique way. As soon as any of the Pokemon trainers lose all their Pokemon, the battle ends, instead of it being last man standing. Now the way they calculate who wins is by who got the most KOs and who has the most Pokemon alive. So they kind of combine those two together to see who has the most points. Now this is a really interesting idea because it means you have to really think about your moves. You got to know if you're faster than the other Pokemon in the stadium. You have to know whether your attack will put them into the range of someone else getting the KO instead of you. It's a very, very interesting thing, and I reckon that the smartest of Pokemon trainers, I guess the true Pokemon master, is the one who will come out on top here. So I'm really looking forward to this new battle mode. Either way, that brings us to the end of this trailer. You can see here it's just telling us, hey, the game is coming out on November 18, 2016. And that's about it for this trailer. However, we still have a little bit more content. So let's move over onto that right now. So I'm going to be showing you guys some screenshots of the live demo that they showed on the Nintendo Treehouse for E3. Now the first thing we have here is just the battle screen. However, previously we've only ever seen the top screen. And now we get a really good idea of what the bottom screen looks like. So now you can see instead of the traditional fight with a big button in the middle and having other smaller buttons, all the buttons are more or less the same size. And you notice that fight has been moved to the right, with Pokemon and bag on the left, and of course run in the same spot. As a left-hander, that's kind of turning me off a little bit, because I feel like I'm more likely to hold my stylus in my left hand. It's weird to press fight, but at the same time I use the D-pad and the A, B, X, Y anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Still, I think it's really interesting, and you might notice that there's a giant gap in the middle of the screen that shows the two Pokemon, and that'll come into play a little bit later, so we'll make sure we talk about that. But another really cool thing that I like from the screen is that there's a dedicated Pokeball button, which is really cool. I don't know if it's designed just like the regular register, where you can set it, or if it just says, hey, press Y to use the Pokeball. I'm not too sure. Either way, we'll move on to our next screenshot. Now right here we see what happens when you hit fight. So you see the moves come out from the right hand side. Looks really pretty. And also you can see this little eye icon next to each move, as well as the text at the top right saying L+A for move info. Now what this means is if you hit the I or you hold L while you hit A, you're going to bring up a little text field that'll explain the move to you, just like if you went to your summary and checked your moves there. I personally think this is really cool, because before it was quite the hassle to go through and look at all your moves. However, now you can do it really quickly on the fly, and while I'm not a person who really does this often because I know about my moves, it's definitely a really good thing for beginner trainers to kind of understand exactly what they're doing and kind of understand what their moves are doing. Now moving on to the next screenshot, we have a different battle with Young Goose, and you can see it in that middle part of the screen. There is a little plus icon next to Young Goose's icon. What happens when you click on this is probably my favorite thing that they revealed in this trailer. Now as you guys can see here, it changes the layout of the bottom screen to show you a lot more information about the Pokemon you clicked on. So you can see it shows Young Goose's HP, it's typing as well, but the most important thing by far is the fact that the game now keeps track of and shows you the stat changes in battle. As a competitive battler, it was always a pain to have to make sure you're always paying full attention so you never miss a stat drop. But now, let's say I'm getting distracted or I'm just not battling too seriously, I can click that button and say, hey, did this person sword stance as their move? I can't remember. Or did they do this? Did they do that? I think this is really awesome, and it's been one of the most needed features in Pokemon games for a very long time. Either way, we'll move on to our next screenshot. So now we have a bit of a cinematic screenshot, I guess, of ourselves, the hero, about to battle our friend Hao. And now, really cool thing about this is that, of course, we're standing at the little pedestal area, so it's a really cool little battle arena. But at the same time, this is done for some kind of Pokemon festival to honor the guardians of the island. So you guys know how there's 4 separate islands, which means we're going to have 4 separate legendaries, which each guard their own island. Either way, I think this is really cool, and they share a lot of information here, so I definitely recommend you guys watch the actual gameplay, because the text kind of, I guess, teases a lot of different things. So I'll leave a link to that down in the description. Either way, we'll move on to our next screenshot, and here we can see a couple of different things. So the first thing here, of course, is we're in the middle of the battle with Hao, and you'll notice that he has chosen the starter Pokemon that is weak to you, which is quite interesting. Normally, the major rival has the one strong to you, so could that mean that Hao is not the major rival but more of a friendly rival, whereas the person who takes, I guess, the other starter is your true rival, the hardcore rival who is really, really pitted against you. So that's one interesting thing to think about. However, there's a couple more things. So if you look at the moves, you'll notice that Pound says it's effective, Water Gun says it's super effective, and Disarming Voice said it's not very effective. Now, of course, you can see what that means is it's telling you how good a move is against your opponent, which personally, it doesn't really affect me, because I'm a player who always knows the type of the Pokemon up against me, and I'm really, really good at remembering what type is effective against what other type. So like I said, this won't come in handy for me. However, I really love that with this new feature, you can basically hand off your DS to anyone who's never played Pokemon before, and they'll be able to pick it up and be quite decent because they know what moves to use and what moves not to use. So I think it's going to be a really great tool for getting new players into Pokemon and have them understand exactly what's happening. And now the third really interesting thing on this screenshot here is the fact that Popplio knows Disarming Voice, and as you guys can see, it is a fairy type move. So during the live stream, the Popplio learnt it at the end of a previous battle, and when I saw it, I got really hyped because I was like, if Popplio can learn Disarming Voice, it's quite likely that the theories of Popplio being a water fairy are true. And I would love to see Popplio become a water fairy type Pokemon. I think that'd be awesome. So that's just a bit of food for thought there. Okay, now moving on, we have one final screenshot. However, this is not from the live gameplay, but actually a brand new screenshot from the Pokemon website. And you can see here it says, the forms of the legendary Pokemon. So we have Lunala's Full Moon phase and Solgaleo's Radiant Sun phase. So it goes on to say, Solgaleo and Lunala are two Pokemon that hold an important key to the story. The forms that these two Pokemon take when they release their mighty power are now revealed as the Radiant Sun phase and the Full Moon phase. Both appear to be shining with a stronger light than in their previously released images. What will these two do when they release their full power? Now this is very interesting because a lot of people had a problem with the typing of the two Pokemon. Because, of course, Lunala, who is the moon Pokemon who should be all about, I guess, the darkness because it's night, is actually weak against dark types. And then of course Solgaleo, who is the embodiment of the sun, of course, which is a ball of fire, is actually weak to fire types. However, with the release of these brand new, I guess, phases, which could act like maybe Mega Evolutions or Primal Evolutions, these Pokemon may gain new abilities or new typings that, I guess, make them fit their role as the sun and the moon Pokemon respectively. Personally, again, I really think this is some awesome food for thought, and I'd love to see what they do here. Of course, we all knew that Solgaleo and Lunala would have a giant part of the story, but I guess the reveal that they effectively have some kind of new evolution or stage makes it super exciting, and I can't wait to see more about these two awesome looking Pokemon. Either way guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like this where I cover all the brand new information that comes out for Pokemon Sun and Moon, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you have your own opinions on the things you just saw in this video, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, because I'd love to know what you guys think. Either way, I want to thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.